One of the most valuable lessons I ever learned in life came from a simple realization. It's not what happens to you that matters most. It's how you see it, how you interpret it, and what you do with it. See, for years I thought success was determined by external circumstances. If the economy was good, if my boss was in a good mood, if I got the right opportunities, then things would work out. If not, well, then I just have to accept my fate. But then I started to observe something interesting. Two people could go through the exact same situation and come out with completely different results. One could take a setback and turn it into a stepping stone, while the other let the same setback define them, paralyze them, and keep them stuck for years. The difference? Perspective. You see, perspective is a powerful thing. It shapes the way we think, the way we feel, and ultimately the way we act. And if there's one truth I've discovered, it's this. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will start to change. Now, let's break this down further. How perspective influences your response to life. Imagine two salespeople working for the same company. They both make calls, meet clients, and try to close deals. One day, both of them lose their biggest client. Same situation, right? But let's look at how they respond. The first salesperson says, "This is terrible. I knew this would happen. The economy is tough and nobody wants to buy anymore. What's the point? I'm just unlucky." They dwell on the loss, let their confidence take a hit, and soon enough, their performance starts to decline. The second salesperson sees the loss and says, "All right, this hurts, but what can I learn from it? Maybe I got too comfortable. Maybe I need to improve my follow-up strategy. Maybe this is a sign I need to diversify my client base." Instead of letting it defeat them, they use it as fuel to get better. Same event, a different perspective. And that perspective will dictate their future. One person stays stuck in frustration, while the other moves forward and grows. Life is full of challenges, my friends. There's no escaping that. The key is understanding that every challenge comes with two possible perspectives. One that holds you back and one that moves you forward. Which one you choose determines everything. Your mindset is the filter for your reality. The human mind is like a lens. Whatever you focus on, you see more of. If you walk around expecting the worst, you'll find reasons to justify that belief. You'll see obstacles, problems, and reasons why things won't work. But if you train yourself to look for opportunities, growth, and lessons, you'll start seeing those instead. Let me give you an example. I once knew a man who worked the same job for over 15 years. Every day he complained about it. How his boss didn't appreciate him, how he wasn't getting paid enough, how he was stuck. And for years, he stayed right where he was. Why? Because he saw himself as stuck. That was his perspective. One day he ran into an old friend who used to work with him. The friend had moved on, started his own business, and was doing well. The man asked, "How did you do it?" His friend said, "I stopped seeing myself as stuck. I realized I had skills, experience, and the ability to grow. The moment I changed my perspective, I saw possibilities I never noticed before." And that was the difference. One person saw limits, while the other saw possibilities. And let me tell you, possibilities are always there, but you won't see them if you've convinced yourself they don't exist. The power of reframing situations. One of the greatest tools you can develop is the ability to reframe situations. Take a negative and flip it into something useful. A lot of people hear the word failure and immediately think of shame, embarrassment, or defeat. But successful people, they reframe failure. They see it as feedback, as data, as a lesson. Think about some of the greatest success stories in history. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he didn't call them failures, he called them experiments. He said, "I have not failed, I've just found 1,000,000 ways that won't work." Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job because they said he lacked imagination. Imagine if he had let that define him. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. If she had accepted that perspective, the world would have never seen her incredible career unfold. These people had setbacks just like everyone else. The difference was perspective. They didn't see their failures as the end. They saw them as a necessary step forward. And here's something powerful. Your brain can be trained to think this way. You don't have to be born with a positive perspective. You can develop it by making a conscious choice to reframe situations. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of saying, "This is impossible," ask, "How can I make this work?" Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I'm getting better." Small shifts in language create big shifts in thinking. And when your thinking changes, your reality starts to change as well. How perspective affects your relationships. Your perspective doesn't just affect your personal success, it also affects how you interact with people. Have you ever met someone who assumes the worst about others? They think everyone is out to get them, that people can't be trusted, that relationships are a constant struggle. Guess what? That belief affects the way they act. It makes them guarded, suspicious, and difficult to connect with. And because they expect negativity, they find it. Now think of someone who sees the good in people, who approaches relationships with curiosity and kindness. They build strong connections, attract positive energy, and create opportunities simply because they believe in them. It all comes down to perspective. How you see others shapes how you interact with them, and how you interact with them determines the kind of relationships you have. If you walk around expecting people to be rude, you'll find plenty of rudeness. If you expect kindness, you'll find that too. Not because the world changes, but because what you look for, you find. This expansion keeps Jim Rohn's style, storytelling, philosophy, and practical insights without an ending sentence per your request. Let me know if you need any tweaks. One of the most profound lessons I ever learned was this: your mindset controls your results, not your circumstances. For years, I thought success was about talent, luck, or being in the right place at the right time. And sure, those things can help, but they are never the deciding factor. The real difference? Mindset. See, two people can be given the exact same opportunity. One turns it into something great, while the other does nothing with it. Two people can go through the same setback. One crumbles, while the other rises stronger. Why? It all comes down to the way they think. Your mind is like a factory, constantly producing thoughts, and those thoughts create the foundation for everything you do. If you have the wrong mindset, no matter how hard you work, you'll stay stuck. But if you shift your mindset, everything else starts to shift with it. Your actions, your confidence, your opportunities, your results. The mindset of excuses versus the mindset of ownership. Let's talk about two mindsets that determine success or failure. First, there's the mindset of excuses. This mindset always has a reason why something can't be done. I'm too old. I don't have the right connections. The economy is bad. I wasn't born into the right circumstances. I once knew a man who had this mindset. Every time an opportunity came his way, he had a reason why it wouldn't work. Every time someone else succeeded, he had an excuse for why they got lucky, why they had it easier, why it wasn't fair. And guess what? He never moved forward. He stayed exactly where he was because his mindset kept him there. Now, on the other hand, there's the mindset of ownership. This mindset takes responsibility. It doesn't focus on the reasons why something can't be done. It focuses on how to make it happen. I once knew another man who had every reason to give up. He grew up in a rough neighborhood, had no money, no education, no mentors. But instead of saying, "I can't," he asked, "How can I?" Instead of blaming circumstances, he found solutions. And slowly, step by step, he built something great. The difference between these two men wasn't intelligence, it wasn't luck, it was mindset. Your thoughts shape your actions. Here's something most people never realize. Your actions always follow your thoughts. If you believe something is impossible, you won't even try. If you believe something is difficult, you'll hesitate. If you believe something is within your reach, you'll find a way to make it happen. I remember a time in my own life when I felt stuck. I kept telling myself, I just don't have what it takes. And guess what? My results reflected that belief. I played small. I second-guessed myself. I missed opportunities that were right in front of me because I didn't believe I was ready. But when I changed that belief, when I started saying I have what it takes and I will figure it out, everything changed. I took bolder actions. I started seeing opportunities I had never noticed before. And because I acted differently, my results changed. Most people wait for their results to change before they change their mindset, but it works the other way around. Your results don't change until your mindset does. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Dr. Carol Dweck, a psychologist, discovered something fascinating. She found that people generally have one of two mindsets. A fixed mindset, these people believe their abilities, intelligence, and circumstances are set in stone. They think, I'm just not good at this, or I'm not a natural leader, or I'll never be successful. Because of this belief, they avoid challenges, give up easily, and stay stuck. A growth mindset, these people believe that abilities can be developed, intelligence can be improved, and circumstances can be changed. They think, I may not be good at this yet, but I can learn, or I can improve if I work at it. Because of this belief, they embrace challenges, keep going despite failure, and eventually succeed. Now here's what's interesting. The only difference between these two groups is what they believe. The people with the growth mindset aren't more talented, they aren't luckier, they simply think differently, and because they think differently, they get different results. How small mindset shifts lead to big changes. Some people think mindset is just about motivation or positive thinking, but it's deeper than that. Your mindset is the foundation of everything. Let's look at a few mindset shifts that can transform your results. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can learn how to do this. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, hard things make me stronger. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, say, I'm getting better every day. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned something valuable. These might seem like small changes, but they create a completely different way of approaching life. One keeps you stuck, the other moves you forward. The mindset of fear versus the mindset of action. Fear is one of the biggest roadblocks people face. And let me tell you, fear is 90% mindset. Most people let fear control them. They wait until they feel ready before they take action. They hesitate, overthink, and let opportunities pass by because they're afraid of failing, afraid of looking bad, afraid of the unknown. But successful people, they feel the same fear, but they act anyway. They understand that action creates confidence, that the only way to get past fear is to do the thing they're afraid of. I once had a friend who was terrified of public speaking. He always said, I could never do that. But one day, he shifted his mindset. Instead of saying, I'm afraid, he started saying, I'm learning how to get better at this. Instead of waiting to feel confident, he started practicing. Little by little, he improved. And eventually, he became a great speaker. Not because the fear disappeared, but because he changed his mindset about it. Surround yourself with the right mindset. Here's another thing. Your environment plays a huge role in shaping your mindset. If you spend time around people who complain, who make excuses, who always see the worst in everything, it will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, who take action, who push themselves to grow, you'll start thinking the same way. This is why successful people are intentional about who they spend time with. They know that mindset is contagious. If you want to shift your mindset, start by shifting your environment. This expansion keeps Jim Rohn's style, storytelling, philosophy, and practical insights without an ending sentence, as you requested. Let me know if you need any refinements. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid problems. They complain when problems arise, they stress over challenges, and they wish things would just be easier. But here's the truth. Problems are not roadblocks. They are stepping. Every successful person you admire has faced problems. Every great achievement in history was born from a challenge. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every leap forward happened because someone decided to see a problem as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. But the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is perspective. Most people see problems and immediately think, this is bad. They get frustrated, discouraged, and sometimes even give up. But highly successful people, they see problems and think, this is my chance to grow. This is an opportunity in disguise. Now, let's break this down further. The way you perceive problems determines your response. Two people can face the same problem and come out with completely different results. Why? Because of how they see the problem. Let's say two business owners experience a downturn in sales. The first business owner panics. They say, the market is terrible, customers aren't buying, and this is the worst time to be in business. They complain, blame the economy, and feel powerless. And because they feel powerless, they do nothing different, and their business continues to struggle. The second business owner sees the same situation and says, all right, sales are down. What does this mean? Maybe I need to improve my marketing. Maybe I need to understand my customers better. Maybe I need to innovate and create a better offer. Instead of seeing the problem as a dead end, they see it as feedback, an opportunity to adjust, grow, and improve. Same problem, two different perspectives, and two completely different results. You see, the way you look at problems determines how you respond. If you see them as overwhelming obstacles, you'll shrink back and avoid them. But if you see them as puzzles to be solved, as challenges that contain lessons, you'll approach them with curiosity and determination. Problems force you to think bigger. Every major breakthrough in business, technology, and life has come from a problem. Think about it. Airplanes were invented because people faced the problem of slow travel. The light bulb was created because people had the problem of darkness after sunset. The internet was developed because people needed a better way to communicate and share information. If these problems had never existed, the solutions would have never been created. One of the greatest mindset shifts you can make is to start seeing problems as invitations to think bigger. Take a look at any major company today, Amazon, Apple, Tesla. What do they all have in common? They solved big problems. Amazon solved the problem of limited shopping options by creating an online marketplace. Apple solved the problem of complex technology by making it simple and user-friendly. Tesla saw the problem of dependence on fossil fuels and created a movement toward electric cars. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. But most people miss out on opportunities because they're too focused on the problem itself instead of looking for solutions. Every problem comes with a lesson. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that problems are setbacks, when in reality, they are setups for growth. Think about a time in your life when you faced a tough situation, maybe a financial struggle, a failure, or a personal challenge. At the time, it felt like a crisis. But looking back, you probably realize that it taught you something valuable. Maybe a financial struggle taught you how to manage money better. Maybe a failure taught you how to improve your skills. Maybe a difficult relationship taught you how to communicate more effectively. The problem itself wasn't the real issue. The issue was how you interpreted it. Most people resist problems because they don't like discomfort. But growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. And the best way to step outside your comfort zone? Face challenges head on. How to start seeing problems as opportunities. If you want to train your mind to see problems differently, here are a few mindset shifts to practice. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? When you shift from complaining to learning, you regain control. Every challenge has a lesson embedded in it, but you have to look for it. Replace the word problem with challenge. The word problem feels heavy. It feels like something negative, but the word challenge or puzzle makes it feel like something you can work through. This small shift in language can change how you approach difficulties. Understand that every great achievement was once a big problem. The most successful people in the world didn't get there because they avoided problems. They got there because they solved them. The bigger the problem you solve, the greater the success you achieve. Ask yourself, how can I turn this into an advantage? History is full of people who turn their setbacks into setups for something bigger. A business failure can lead to a better business idea. A job loss can lead to a better career path. A personal setback can lead to personal growth. But you have to be willing to look for the opportunity within the obstacle. Examples of people who turn problems into opportunities. Look at someone like Walt Disney. Early in his career, he was fired from a newspaper because his editor said he lacked imagination. Instead of letting that problem define him, he used it as fuel to build one of the most imaginative companies in the world. Or consider Steve Jobs. He was kicked out of Apple, the very company he founded. Instead of letting that problem destroy him, he used it as an opportunity to innovate. He built Pixar, learned valuable lessons, and later returned to Apple stronger than ever. Then there's Oprah Winfrey. She faced rejection early in her career. She was told she wasn't fit for television. But instead of letting that problem stop her, she used it as an opportunity to create a media empire on her own terms. These stories aren't unique to famous people. They happen all the time to everyday people who decide to shift their perspective. The truth is, problems aren't meant to break you, they're meant to shape you. But whether they break you or shape you depends on how you choose to see them. This expansion keeps Jim Rohn's storytelling, philosophy, and practical insights without an ending sentence, as you requested. Let me know if you need further refinements. There's a principle in life that determines the trajectory of your success, your mindset, and your potential. It's a principle that can either push you toward greatness or hold you back in mediocrity. That principle is association. The people you spend the most time with shape the way you think, the way you see the world, and ultimately the results you get. If you want to change your thinking, you have to change who you spend your time with. You've probably heard the famous quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." It's not just a saying, it's a law of life. If you surround yourself with negative, small-minded, and unmotivated people, their thinking will become your thinking. If you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, disciplined, and growth-focused, their mindset will elevate yours. Most people don't realize how much their environment affects them. They go through life absorbing the habits, beliefs, and limitations of those around them without questioning it. But if you look at successful people, people who rise above the ordinary, you'll notice something. They are intentional about their associations. Your associations determine your standards. Look around at the people you spend the most time with. What are their habits? What are their goals? What do they talk about? What do they believe is possible? If the people around you have low standards, you'll unconsciously lower your standards to match them. If they waste time, make excuses, and settle for average results, you'll start doing the same. But if you surround yourself with high achievers, disciplined individuals, and people who challenge themselves, you'll be pulled in that direction. Their thinking will stretch yours. Their habits will inspire you to do better. Their level of discipline will make you raise your own. It's like being in a room with a strong fragrance. After a while, you stop noticing it, but it still affects you. The same goes for the people you associate with. Their influence is subtle, but it shapes you every single day. The three types of people in your life? There are three types of people you will encounter in life, and each type will either elevate or limit you. The drainers. These are the people who drain your energy, pull you down, and keep you stuck in negative thinking. They are full of excuses, pessimism, and fear. They don't believe in themselves, and they certainly won't believe in you. If you spend too much time around them, their limitations will become your limitations. The maintainers. These are the people who are comfortable with where they are. They aren't necessarily negative, but they also aren't pushing themselves to grow. They stick to what's familiar, avoid discomfort, and live on autopilot. If you spend too much time with them, you'll stay in your comfort zone and never reach your full potential. The elevators, these are the people who challenge you, push you to grow and inspire you to become better. They don't accept excuses. They have high standards. They believe in continuous learning and self-improvement. When you're around them, you feel energized, motivated, and capable of achieving more. Now, here's the key. You must intentionally spend more time with elevators and less time with drainers and maintainers. If you want to upgrade your thinking, you have to upgrade your associations. How to identify whether someone is elevating or limiting you. Ask yourself these questions about the people you spend the most time with. Do they encourage me to think bigger, or do they make me doubt my potential? Do they support my goals, or do they dismiss them as unrealistic? Do they inspire me to be better, or do they reinforce bad habits? Do they challenge me to grow, or do they keep me comfortable? Do they bring positive energy into my life, or do they drain it? If the people around you are not helping you grow, it may be time to create some distance. That doesn't mean you need to cut people off entirely, but you do need to be mindful of how much influence they have over your thinking. The power of proximity. One of the fastest ways to elevate your mindset is through proximity, being around people who already think and operate at a higher level. Let's say you want to improve your finances. If you're constantly around people who are struggling financially, complaining about money, and making poor financial decisions, it will be difficult to change your own financial habits. But if you start surrounding yourself with people who are financially successful, their habits and thinking will rub off on you. The same applies to health, relationships, business, and personal growth. If you want to get in great shape, spend time around people who prioritize health and fitness. If you want to start a successful business, connect with entrepreneurs who are already doing it. If you want to develop a strong mindset, learn from people who have mastered their thinking. You don't even need to know these people personally. Books, podcasts, and online communities can also elevate your thinking. By exposing yourself to the right influences, you start absorbing their mindset. How to upgrade your associations. Audit your circle. Take an honest look at who you spend the most time with and ask yourself whether they are helping you grow or keeping you stuck. Seek out elevators. Look for people who challenge and inspire you. Attend events, join mastermind groups, and connect with individuals who are striving for excellence. Limit time with drainers and maintainers. You don't have to cut people off completely, but you do need to protect your mindset. Spend less time with those who don't align with your growth. Immerse yourself in a growth environment. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch interviews with high achievers. If you can't be around elevators in person, immerse yourself in their content. Be the elevator for others. As you grow, become the person who lifts others up. Surround yourself with people who want to grow and create an environment of success. Your thinking is too valuable to be shaped by people who don't believe in growth. If you want to think bigger, achieve more, and become the best version of yourself, start by upgrading your associations. This expansion maintains Jim Rohn's storytelling, philosophy, and practical insights without an ending sentence, as you requested. Let me know if you need further refinements.